Hello, people of the internet. I recorded a demo last weekend about MCP, how to use DreamFactory's MCP server and Claude Code to connect to a third-party database securely and apply RBAC on top of it. I've gotten a lot of questions about MCP, and so I know there's tons of videos out there like this, but this is sort of specific to DreamFactory and just explaining how it works. So this is, I think, a really good, really basic description. If you recall, I had Claude Desktop installed on my computer. I in the terminal installed MCP -df, which is the MCP server. So that this is all local on the desktop, on the laptop, and let me see if I can just grab it real quick. So if you recall, I went to File, I went to Settings, and I went to Developer, and I went to Config, and I actually put this is the config that actually tells Claude Desktop, the client, how to connect to the MCP server, which is on my desktop, and says this is the path on disk on my device to connect to the MCP server, and then this is the URL of the DreamFactory trial and the API key to connect to it. So what you have here is, okay, so that's the client, Claude Desktop. I showed you the server and the path that it's connecting to, and the MCP is actually that protocol that's connecting Claude Desktop, or it could be Cursor, to the MCP server on my device. That MCP server has the URL and the key to connect outside of the internet, outside of my device, to the internet, to the API endpoint, the DreamFactory endpoint, to fetch that data. You could also put Zapier or other third-party services and APIs into an MCP server. So that's sort of high level. Going a little bit deeper, this is another diagram. The MCP host here is Claude Desktop. You've got multiple clients here, like I mentioned. You can have. So just imagine DreamFactory connecting to, in this case, MCP server still in the desktop. This is all within the desktop, and then out to a database. This would be a direct database connection that wouldn't give you RBAC or auth or any of the additional capabilities that we're talking about. Connected to a file system, it can connect to the internet, some different protocols it's connecting through. So then if we're going to look at DreamFactory specifically, this is a little bit crowded. There we go. You got the end user device. You've got multiple clients, in this case, DreamFactory, Zapier, and Slack, all connected within Claude Desktop using the protocol to connect to MCP servers that are on the desktop, that are each connecting out to do their own thing, right? So at this point, we're still on device. We're on the end user device. And the MCP server is using that secure URL and secret to securely connect out over HTTPS to in the case of DreamFactory, a DreamFactory server that I had spun up as a trial. And from there, we can connect to, I showed you MySQL, but we can connect to SQL Server, Oracle, SAP, Snowflake, Databricks, DB2, like essentially unlimited set of connectors with authentication, with rate limiting, with RBAC, right? And that's kind of the DreamFactory innovation. But you can also, with in the same client, in the same AI app, like Claude Desktop, using, I guess, what you call a different MCP client. This is where things get a little bit, nomenclature can get confusing. You can connect to Zapier's MCP server, which then connects out to Zapier's external service or server to do all the things you want to do with Zapier, and same with Slack. And so my next video is going to be actually tying these together and showing you how you can create, for instance, a Zapier alert that when it hears that there's let's say an emergency happening, it takes that information because we have a DreamFactory database with a ton of city information. It's going to ping. Claude's going to control these three clients. It's going to actually ping through to DreamFactory to the MySQL database, fetch a bunch of city data, bring that back to the client, process that data, and then send an alert back through to Slack to say, this is the information you need about some sort of alert. I'm still figuring out exactly what that's going to be, but that is my next video, and I hope this helps explain a little bit about what's going on.